Hi everyone, it's Eddie here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am gonna show you my newest design. This is Elegant Mayhem. This is the 9x12 stencil made from Yupo, and this will be available starting August 3rd, I believe. It's an August release, but I want to show it to you just a day early to get you excited about it. So I got my big gel plate, and the only paper I'm going to use today, or going to try and use today, is this craft wax paper, or Gelli wrap rather, not wax paper, Gelli wrap. I was gifted a box of this, and I thought, you know what? Well, let's do a bunch of prints on that. Why not? I'm gonna start with some blue today. This is a phthalo blue green shade from Utrecht. A little bit more. So, let's get this first layer down. This is a very intense blue. I love it though. One of my favorite colors. I really should put paper underneath there so as my guide, but I forgot. All right, let's get this bad boy down. And we'll use this to pick it up. I'm gonna pick up through the stencil. So what I'd like to do today is I have a couple of boxes that I need to cover to use for storage. And I need some prints that are, they're all gonna work together. And I figured this paper is gonna be great to glue down. It's a lot easier than a regular paper. And I think it's gonna be just much better, that's all. I don't say anything more. It pulls beautifully, look at that. So I'll be adding more layers to these. Let's just get on and let's get the print left behind, because that's fabulous. So we've got two to start with, right? Now, I'm not too worried about this paint coming through on this, because this is from the tube. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And this is a great design because you can, you can cut it, it's a repetitive pattern. So, or not, it's a pattern where if you cut this in half, it's going to be the same on either side. Same thing if you do it this way or that way. And so I like that. So I think when I'm doing my boxes and putting the paper down, I can easily line it up. We'll do a few different prints. Now, got some blue left on there. Very cool. Let's do a couple more. Let's use some of this here. This is a metallic blue. It is Folk Art Ice Blue. This is a brand new one. These I found online a while ago. They were like $1 each. And I bought like 3 because at the time my nephew was obsessed with using this one. He calls it diamond paint because it's got the diamond on there. And so we went through a lot of this paint when he and I were gel printing together. That was a lot, Eddie, but that's okay. You see some of that blue from the brayers coming off. That's cool though. All right. Oof, that was a lot of paint. You see how all that, it pulled all that blue off? Jesus. That's a lot. All right, you have to dry there. Do my paint on you. All right, I'm gonna put this back down. And then I'm gonna take this one that has the full design on it, and I'm trying to line it up as best I can and try and catch that blue metallic inside the empty spaces. Sorry, words are not my friend today. It is like just blazing hot outside, and I have to shut the AC off in order to do my video, so it's a little warm. The heat's exhausting. It doesn't play nice with my old bones, you know what I'm saying? All right, now I want to get all that stuff from around, so use another piece as a, what Patricia and Mariah over at PM Artist Studio call a pup, a pickup paper. I thought that was super clever. Now, it doesn't seem to be drying quickly, which is great, because lately, in this sort of extreme heat weather we've been having, my paints tend to dry faster. So we'll see how it goes. Now, if I notice they're starting to dry faster, I do have what's called acrylic retarder, or a slow drying medium. So add this to your paint, and it slows down the drying time, so you have more time to play around. Oh, look at that. That's what I wanted. That's happy. That's what I wanted. It's really wet. I'm trying not to smudge it. Not too shabby, eh? Oops. Okay. You can try it down there. There's a little more going on here. I'm just gonna pick it up with this piece here that I already have out. And maybe we could do what's left on the plate on that first print here, so you have the opposite effect. Like I said, I'm just playing around today. I haven't played on my gel print in a little bit. A lot of life stuff going on, so it's been a little bit, but I need to get back into it and have a little fun. All right, fingers crossed. See, all that blue came off the stencil too, so it should be. You know what I can do? This has a fold in it. I'm gonna fold it in half. Line it up here, because on this stencil, that's the center point, so it's easy to line up. I don't think I did it well, although no, I think I did. Let's see. Even if I did it, it's still gonna look pretty cool, because sometimes when you get that off, like if you layer two of the same design onto one sheet of paper and they're kind of like, you know, off kilter, they will, it'll look cool. Hopefully. Sometimes it does. Look at that. All right, that is pretty spectacular. Because you've got that, the darker blue mixing in there, that phthalo blue, and then, oh, it's so good. All right, you go over there. Paper here let's see if I can get a flop off on here. And a flop off is basically taking the stencil with the wet paint, flopping it onto a piece of paper, and then getting a print off of that, not leaving it on the paper too long, because especially with new stencils, the Yupo, it's very sticky, so it may stick to the paper, because paint to paper, it can stick a lot quicker than if I were going paint to paint. So if I had a print here that was already, obviously, you know, done, and I put more paint on it, it's not gonna stick as well. It's not gonna stick like it would if it was just plain paper. And you've seen that on one of my videos where like the paper stuck to the stencil because I left it on too long and it was a new stencil, so it was, it hadn't been broken in. There you go, it's a nice little flop off. What if we do a mix of this blue? Maybe some of this. This is a iridescent blue-green from Pabeo. It's from their high viscosity studio acrylics line, number 357. Let's see what we get with this. And I put these together because this is a phthalo blue green shade, and this has some green in it too. It's green, blue-green. So yeah, they work well together. Let's mix up a little bit more. Un poquito más. Gonna have to clean that later. That's messy. And I'm adding more of the metallic because the phthalo blue is very strong. And I don't want to lose my shininess here. Lovely. Okay. So let's get this rolled out. That's good. Let's see what looks on here. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Let's see if we can get more off of here. Okay. And I will bring my stencil over. Put this down here. Gelli paper here. So this design was a total fluke. I was trying to do something else, and I got frustrated, and I said, you know what, let me just start playing around with the with moving things and, you know, stretching, pulling, you know, doing different things. I design these digitally. And so, yeah, I ended up with this, and I came back, I refined it a little bit, and I ended up with that. And I thought I loved it. So I was like, yeah, let me submit this one, because I think it'll be great for, it'll be great to have. And it has a lot of nice openings, not too many tiny ones, which is cool. And this is a great candidate for what we call a long haul. And if you don't know what that means, ooh, look at that. Nice. A long haul is when you put your stencil down, you layer paint, pull a print, layer paint, pull a print, and you keep going without moving the stencil. And then when you're tired or you think you've done enough prints, you pull up your stencil, and all those layers of paint create these really cool outlines around the designs, around these, you know, openings, and that's what's left on the plate. You let that dry, and then you come back and you pull that with another color, and you get this really interesting print. Very unique print. I was gonna do a long haul with this, but like I said, I was like, oh, I've got some boxes that I want to cover, but I don't have enough prints that go together. If you know me, I get all over the place with color. That's even a good one too. And that, you know, I get a little crazy going everywhere with color. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to leave that one to dry. So I'll come back once this is dry, and then we can do some more. So I did a flop off of that last print, you know, where I pulled off the stencil, and look at that. Isn't that cool? Look at that. The coloring there is so neat. Really cool. So, all right, so we have 2 great flop offs we can play with for later. And for this, let's do, what color should we use? Let's use some of my new Arteza paints. This is a copper gold, number A729. So we'll use that to pick up this print, and I would like to do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it on this Gelli paper. I said gold. This is a little more. This is bronzy, but you know, I still like it. Okay. Down there. I'm gonna get my bearing here because I want to make sure that I get this nice and burnished so that it pulls everything. Missing this bottom section here. Get that before it dries. Once that dries, we'll pull that. All right, while this is drying, I'm thinking, you didn't put enough paint on there, you silly goose, but let's just see. That's not ready yet. Let me give this a few more minutes. It's not too bad, huh? Okay, I'm getting most of it. Yeah, there's going to be a line there because of the fold, but I'm not too worried about that. This is where I didn't put enough paint. Oops. They dry like super fast on here. So that's pretty nice, huh? Very shiny. Okay. Oh, let's party on, Wayne. What do we got now? Oh, this one's here, right? Let's see, what if let's get something transparent to put over this so we can fill that in. I have this turquoise phthalo. I'm just trying to think if it's going to be too much blue. And kill that. What are my other options? Oh, you know what could be fun? I haven't used this in a little bit. This is micaceous iron oxide from Golden Fluid Acrylics, and it's got a bit of a texture to it, so it feels really cool on the touch. So let me get some of this down. I know it doesn't harm the plate at all. I've used this many times before, and yeah, it doesn't harm the gel plate. Let's see if I can smooth this out a little better. If we don't like it, hey, it's just paper, right? Or a pup sheet, or a pup pickup paper. Try and get some of these wrinkles out of there. Now this will be a quick pull. I don't have to let this dry. Nice. Very cool. Ooh, feel that. I love that. And I kind of love how, like, I got some blotchy spots there. It's got some texture going on through here. I like it. I'm happy with it. That way I have options. What could be our next color? We're sticking with the blue, but let's just do a couple more with the blue. Oops, a little oogie boogie there, get that off. Okay. Stencil down. Okay. Let's get our paper. Just trying to think in my head how many of these I will need. The boxes aren't big. It's about that big. And I use them mainly for holding like ephemera or paints or something like that, you know. I'm loving this craft. Gelli paper is working really well. Wonderful. Okay, so we have that. Oh, it's right here. I thought I'd put it away. The same pearl copper gold. And, you know, it's not a good idea to put a metallic down on a Yupo stencil that's brand new like this, like the clean side, because it's hard to get off. But I don't clean my stencils all that often, so it doesn't really bother me. But it's good to know if you want to keep your stencils, you know, in the original state. But building up your stencil, the paint, it can give you some really cool effects on the plate. So keep that in mind. Now, obviously, if they get too thick with paint and the little areas in the designs are getting clogged up and they don't show up anymore, that's when you want to, you want to go to my video. See, look, that was the paint that's pulled up from the stencil, which is fine. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. Let me do a quick flop off on here. So what I was saying is, what you want to do is you want to go into my video library and look for that awesome video I did on how to clean your stencils. And it's a very simple process. and it involves Murphy's oil, and it works really well. Let's look at that. There was some white paint on the stencil already. That's why that's coming up, because I was testing it out earlier. But you see there, not a super flop off, but you know, we got that. So both sides are now covered in paint, yay. All right, let me let this dry and I'll come back and then we'll pull it with another color. All right, so this is nice and dry and it didn't take very long. It's stuff's drying fast today, but that can be a good thing. And let's think of a color. So this is what it's gonna look like from the other side. See that? Let me think what paint would be good to pull this with. What if we do this turquoise blue? Let's give that a try. How about that? Okay. Ooh, that wasn't me. That was the tube. One I got to work quickly with because I know for a fact this particular paint does dry quickly. So put down my paper here. Use my cleanup sheet here. All that nice and flat. Get all that good stuff up off the plate. Get a little bit more up here. Okay, so this needs to dry. I'm gonna clean up a little bit. I'll be right back. All right, that's been down for about 10 minutes. Let me give this a little bit of a peek and see where we're at. I think we're good. Just gonna take my time because this did have a lot of paint on it. And I don't want this to tear on me. Well, see, it already started. All right, slow it goes. All right. I'm loving these little crack lines on the plate. Whoa. All right. That has got to be my favorite of the day so far. Look how great that looks. And you see how it gets a really cool outline on there? Because remember, we had the paint on the plate first, the blue paint. Then we put the stencil, pulled up that blue paint through the stencil onto here. And then once that, then I pulled, and then while the stencil was still down, I added that metallic paint, that coppery gold, pulled up the stencil, let that dry, came back and pulled it with this turquoise blue. And this is the loveliness that we got. I want to do that one more time because I really like this. Okay, so here we go. So blue paint first. Okay. That. Boy. So I don't know how many of you out there watch British game shows. I'm sure if you live in the UK, you watch them. But I watch a lot of British game shows. And my favorite is 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, which is hosted by Jimmy Carr. Oh my God, it's hysterical. I freaking love it. The new season just began. So on Friday nights, I get this awesome notification on my YouTube, because I got this YouTube person who uploads them as soon, soon after they air. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but let me tell you, it makes me so happy. And I watch them all the time. I watch the old ones. I think they're hysterical. And they're all over YouTube. There are some seasons on BritBox, on Amazon. And then the other one I like is Would I Lie to You? Really, that's a really funny one, especially when Lee Mack and who's the other guy? I just had his name on the tip of my tongue. He played Shakespeare in Upstart Crow, I think it was called. I'll think of his name later. But when they go at it back and forth, it's pretty hysterical. Look at that. That's a pretty good lineup job there. And yeah, and they have some really good guests that come on there. I remember my favorite one is when they had James Acaster on as a guest, as one of the contestants, and they have this thing where they bring out a person, and the 3 people on one team have to tell you how they know this person. You know, so they bring out this teenager, and everybody tells their story. The other 2 people tell the story, and it's hilarious. Then James comes in, and if you know anything about James Acaster, he is some of the things he says and like the stories he does, they're brilliant. They're to regular people, they probably sound really insane, but he's a riot. I think he's brilliant. And so then it's his turn to say how he knows this kid. So he starts talking about this. This is his biggest enemy. And he's real serious about it. And the crowd's laughing hysterically. I need a drink. And they've had this feud going on with cabbage. So I forgot what the first instance was, but the kid put cabbages or something in the room. I don't know. And and they went back and forth. He sent one in the mail. He even got I think it was his grandfather to go in on it. In on the joke, and he tells all these different instances about the getting the cabbage, and so finally he went, and because obviously James is friends with his dad, that's why he was there. So then James went in, he takes everything out of the kid's room and fills it with cabbages, and I think that was like the final one. And he had pictures and everything. It was so funny, so freaking funny. That a teenager, a young kid would go and do this to this grown-ass man. And it really got to him. And it was just so funny how it all played out. But man, some of these comedians are just so creative. They're more than comedians. They're writers, and they are satirists. But they're good storytellers. And they're hilarious. Very relatable. Ooh, I have some stuff on here. But yeah, that's how I spend some of my free time, watching that stuff. I just had to tell you. that. Looks like gold leaf, but it's the paint coming off the stencil. Now, let me go on to a clean piece of paper and see what I get, if there's anything left to get. Not much, but you know, that was pretty cool. That's fun. Very old world wall. Look at that. Okay, so this, while I've been gabbing, has dried. Bam. All right, let's get some of this down. And another piece of craft deli paper. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you watch any of these shows, what you think of them, and any recommendations on things I should watch as well. So I watch my, my mixed media videos and stuff like that, but I watch something else too. Looking pretty good, huh? We'll call this the blue video. Yeah. And then there's Mrs. Brown's Boys, which I adore. Just announced today that new season starts Friday on BBC. So I don't know how soon I will get to see it, but that's pretty exciting. That show is a riot as well. So many good jokes, so many just clever bits in that, and just outright silly. That sometimes that's what you need. It's just some outright silly stuff to watch when, the rest of the world is on fuego, but, and you can't watch that stuff 24/7, so you gotta balance it out and do other things. I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna take a drink break and I'll be right back. All right, guys, here's the other one. I think we did it. All right, let's take our time here. You know what, this time I'm gonna start pulling here as well, and that'll help it keep from ripping. All right. Huh, I think we have an exact twin. Booyah. Look at that. Twin prints. I'm so loving that. Brilliant. I'm gonna do a couple more, but I want to do them with different metallic. So let's get to it. And let's get on to a different blue. I'm gonna go ahead and use this. This is Phthalo Blue 2. No, I'm not going to use this one. Where's another one? Here, let's use this one. Ultramarine. This is Winsor Newton Galleria. There we go. I had my Wheaties today. Yeah, since this heat, I've started eating cereal again. I don't usually eat cereal like with milk. First of all, because I'm lactose intolerant, but I do like the lactate milk. So I get that, and I get some just basic cereal, nothing fancy. And I'll have a bowl of that after I have my coffee. But because it's too hot to cook or be heating stuff up. Ooh, that is blue. Oh, there goes that knife. All right, let's move you out the way. Get the rest of this paint off of here so it's nice and clean. Okay, gotta remember what I'm doing here. All right, put my stencil down. Got my stencil down. I need my paper here. Let's pull that paint through the stencil. And so, what else should we talk about, huh? What have you guys been up to this summer so far? I've been looking for a home. Oh yeah, that's a big life issue right now. And if anybody's in Boston and has a place, let me know. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a tough time right now, but you know, we have to persevere and do the best we can with what we've got. A little extra paint on there from this cleanup sheet, but that's okay. It's such a beautiful color. Love that. Okay, you sit there. You hang out there. Let me pull some of this extra paint off with this. And I really should cover some of my boxes with, you know, all these pups. Pickup papers I have on tissue would be great on a box. Gotta add that to my list. That's good. All right, so as far as metallic, what else do I have that I want to use? I'm going to use this. This is the Pabeo iridescent gold, very nice gold. I'm gonna need a clean sheet to do a nice flop off of this gold because that's gonna be beautiful. Trying to get it evenly distributed here. Pretty. See, it's not intense like that other metallic. It's less coppery, obviously, because it's just gold. But it's beautiful. So this is a double flop off. We're gonna flop off on here, and then we're gonna take this paper and get that. All right. This is a matter of speed and efficiency. So let's work quickly so nothing sticks. Just trying to get that extra stuff off, the paint off those edges there. I think I can do a little bit more of this here. Lovely. And then here. Pulling up from the stencil, which is what you want. That's really, look at those. Like I was saying earlier, if you don't clean off your stencil and you get these layers that build up, eventually they start releasing back into your print and they give you some really cool effects like that. Brilliant. Okay. This needs to go over here to dry. So does that. All right. Now, where is my blue? Here we go. So I've got my turquoise. So we're gonna pull that once this is dry. I'll be back when that's dry. Okay, so this is dry. Add another layer here. Get our turquoise out. That should be more than enough. And set you to the side for now. I'm going to start a new cleanup sheet. Yeah, I went too fast. That's okay. Nothing wrong with a couple of wrinkles. How are we doing? How are we doing? Okay, let me let that dry. Ooh, gonna like this too. Oh, look at that. I really enjoy that. So nice. All right, let's do one more, and then I think I'm gonna call it quits because I think I have enough for a couple of boxes. And then, like I said, if I have a third box, I'll use my my pups for that. All right, so what was the blue we had down there? Silly me. Do we have another blue on there? What did I use? Ultramarine, right here in front of my face. All right, so let's get some of that down. Maybe not as much this time. Trying to keep it within that 9 by 12 space. For this one, I think I'm just going to use this sheet here and pull the design onto that. Use my phalanges here to get into the nooks and crannies. Oops. Isn't that cool? I love that effect. See, that's what I was talking about earlier. That offset effect. Very neat. Oh, let's see. The rest of this, I'll just use my pup. I also want to call it quits because it's getting blazing hot in this place. All right, so that's good. And where's our gold? Here we go. I'm going to use another brayer for the gold. So I don't get too much blue coming off the brayer into the gold. All right, little dab will do ya. Okay, I think we're good there. Put a little gold on here. Yeah. Very nice, very nice. All right, we'll do the flop off onto this one here. Oh, we need another piece of paper here. Now see, this is because there's blue paint on here and it's coming up. It's coming off as I rub it down onto the paper there. But look at the stuff coming off too. Ooh, very cool. All right, let's get the gold one up here. That was a little off center, but bam, look at that. I love that. So you can get some of this stuff left on the edges. It's not much, but you know, oops, a little bit there. Love that effect. All right, so again, this is my newest design. This is for August, and it's called Elegant Mayhem. It comes in two sizes. This is the 9x12, and then it comes as an 8x10. And all of that and all of my other designs you can find at pmartiststudio.com. Links available in the description box to the video. And give me a few minutes. I'm gonna let that dry. I'll come back with my full color. All right, we should have some paint left in here to use. I think I do. Here we go. Bam. Close it up. Close it up. All right. Last print. Brilliant. So let's clean this up. You know how it goes. I'll be back and then I'll pull it and then that's it. We'll go through all the prints. Oh boy, looking good. Oh, look at that. Love it. All right, so let's check out our prints today. So we have this one with the silvery ice blue paint and the phthalo blue-green shade. Very cool. This is the other one, the opposite of this one. And then we have the one we did with the micaceous iron oxide. That's got a little texture to it. Love that. And then these two were, you know, from pulling through the stencil. And I'll come back to these and add another layer or something. This is when we started introducing that. We introduced the gold copper, or the copper gold. Very nice. And then these are the 4 pieces. It's 2 of these with the copper gold. I love, 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 love. And then we have these 2 with the Cabello gold, the iridescent gold. So let's give that a wiggle so you can see what I mean. Look at that. Oh, love it. I love it so much. And then we have our flop off sheets. Now this wasn't necessarily flop off, but we did get some good grunge off of the stencil on this one. So that was cool. This was a flop off. Another one here. This was a cool one. Got all that great stuff coming up off the stencil. Another good one. This one with that offset effect. And then this one was one of the last ones. Fantastic. So thank you guys for joining me today. I am sweating bullets and I'm about to turn my AC on. I will talk to you very soon. Don't forget, check out the link in the description of the video to find out how you can get my brand new wonderful stencil, Elegant Mayhem. Now available at pmrstudio.com. Bye.